Wow. SummerSlam has come to an end, and it was a crazy one. Some all-time moments from night one and definitely on night two. We already talked about night one in review. If you guys haven't seen that video, go check it out. But now is the time to review night two of SummerSlam. We started off with Naomi retaining the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I don't like the way they portrayed Naomi in this match. I know she's the Money in the Bank winner, you know, the opportunist that came in and stole the championship, but the whole match, I mean, she just felt like the underdog, and she's the champion. Now, I know Rhea and Io are massive, respectable stars. That doesn't mean that Naomi can be great too. I feel like her running away from them at the beginning was weird. Like, she's the champion, she's the one. I know she's the threat, but and then she steals a win from a finish where I feel like she should have been a part of it. It was weird. I know she's the heel. I know she's like the sneaky opportunist, but I wanted her to come out of this match actually being a force and proving she can be at the top of the women's division amongst Rhea Ripley, amongst Io Sky, and I feel like they didn't really give her that opportunity. I'm not sure how her reign is going to go moving forward. She has a match with Stephanie Valkyria in a few weeks, and she's going to have to go 1v1, and we'll see how that goes, but I wanted Naomi to feel a little more powerful in this match. All that to say, it was a great match. It was fun. It was a little bit too short in my opinion. I feel like it moved kind of well, but I thought it would go on a bit longer, especially with how much time some of the other matches took. So an interesting one overall. I do think Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are going to team up after this match. I called it a few days ago, but after seeing that match, I'm convinced they're going to team up moving forward. I feel like that makes sense for Rhea Ripley. I feel like that makes sense for Io Sky. People love them together. They're going to be the most over tag team in the world, and I'm down. So that's exciting for everybody coming out of this match. But again, Naomi, I feel like I wish just a little bit more controlling and dominant in this match. All that to say, I'm glad she won. I predicted her to win, and she did. GG's Naomi. Then we saw the Wyatt 6 retain in a crazy multi-team TLC match. You can argue that was one of the greatest TLC matches of all time. So many incredible spots, like so dangerous, some of the spots they were doing, and they nailed them all. It was a ton of fun, very minimal mistakes, and just banger action for what felt like hours. It was an awesome match, and I feel like everybody had a great opportunity. There was 17, if maybe even 18 people that were in the match at one point. It was a crazy match. I know not everybody's gonna get their spot in, but a massive GGs, massive handshakes to everybody involved. That was incredible. The table spots, the back-to-back-to-back action, the Candice LeRae bump is one of the most dangerous and scary moments I've ever seen in a TLC match. I was genuinely concerned. She sold the hell out of it. I'm glad she's fine. The 4 table jump with DIY was awesome. The ladder moments with Uncle Howdy, the Wyatt 6 involvement, B-Fab getting in there. Now, I didn't like that the crowd was booing the Wyatt 6. I know they kind of are the heels in this scenario, but them getting booed, I almost feel like wasn't because they were heels. I almost feel like they were getting booed because the fans don't like it or the fans don't believe it. But I predicted the Wyatt 6 to win because I think they needed this match. They needed this win to prove themselves. I think the WWE has so much invested in them, and they are giving them one final real shot in the spotlight to be great, and we'll see how the Wyatt 6 do from here. Also, I think this is the finale of the Tag Team Madness on SmackDown. I think we're going to get some kind of a superstar mix-up after SummerSlam. I think there's too many vortexes happening right now, and some teams need to be swapped, some people need to split. By the way, Street Profits, if you guys didn't see that after the show, they kind of walked away from each other and were very upset. Now, that could be a very normal thing, or we could start seeing the split of the Street Profits, which I think is very possible, and they're both so great on their own. We've been calling for this for years. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe that's what the Street Profits need. We'll see about that. Then we saw Becky Lynch retain the IC title against Lyra Valkyria. This was one of the most brutal matches ever. Becky Lynch was going in, kendo sticks, zip ties, a wrench, the chair across Lyra's neck, on her back. She even was getting choked by a chain at some point there. It was actually insane. Also, the match was way too long. I mean, it felt so dragged out, and I feel like they could have used some of that time for the triple threat match earlier in the night or the steel cage match later on. But all that to say, I'm happy that Becky Lynch won. I did predict Lyra to win. It's very interesting that Becky won. I think they want the IC title to have more prestige, and ultimately Lyra Valkyria is the goal, but they're gonna have to wait because Lyra can no longer challenge for the IC title as long as Becky has it. I also don't like how the match ended. I was glad to see Bayley there, but she didn't end up turning heel. She costed Lyra again, so her and Lyra are still in a vortex, which I called before the match even happened. No matter the outcome, the Bayley and Lyra vortex is going to continue no matter what happened. Heel turn, no heel turn, Lyra wins, Lyra loses, we're still gonna get Bayley and Lyra going at it. So I don't really know where we go from there. I'm kind of over it. I do like them. They have good chemistry. The matches are fun, but I just want something different, and I don't know where to go from here. So I guess we'll see the fallout on Monday Night Raw. I am excited for Becky Lynch's future. Maybe she's gonna have a run with Rhea Ripley or Io Sky or somebody else on the roster. There's also rumors that Nikki Bella is gonna challenge her for the IC title. That'd be fun. That'd be interesting. It's kind of like a two generations going at it, two stars of their era going at it. That'll be fun. Shout out to Becky for the dub. I was wrong. Then we saw Solo Sikoa defeat Jacob Fatu and retain in the steel cage match. A lot of people were complaining about this match, and I understand why, but I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was everything the match needed to be. It did have a really awkward ending. It just didn't feel like the match was over, but they didn't have a lot of time, and I feel like they got in a lot of the spots. There was good wrestling between Jacob and Solo. They both were showed their dominance. The MFTs came out. Jimmy came out. The MFTs got involved. They handcuffed Jacob to the top. Jacob broke the lock. That was cool. Solo was trying to sneak out the whole time. Of course Solo was going to sneak out. If Solo was winning, he was 100% sneaking out. Now, I hate to see Jacob Fatu get overpowered by the MFTs day in and day out, but it is what it is. It's the bloodline vortex. And unfortunately, throughout all of this, Jacob is going to be stuck in the bloodline vortex. I wanted him to win and get away from all of it, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know where the heck things go from here. There's another vortex that we're just kind of stuck in, which is the Jacob, Solo, MFT, Jimmy bloodline vortex. Although it was after Jacob lost, they did find a way for Jacob to jump off the top. It was very dangerous. I don't love that. I mean, jumping off the top is fine, but flipping off the top is just super, it's super over the top. But hey, we got some absolute dogs in there that are down to do it and are down to put their bodies on the line, and we can appreciate and respect that. So GG's on this match. It was weird, but it was fun. Then we saw Dominik Mysterio retain the IC title against AJ Styles. This whole match was an Eddie Guerrero tribute, from AJ's lowrider entrance to AJ's gear to the spots in the match that Dom did, that AJ did. It was awesome. And listen, I love Dominik Mysterio and I want him to have a great run, but I thought it was time for AJ Styles to win the IC title. That would have been sick. I hope they run it back. Maybe they are going to run it back at Clash in Paris. I also thought Finn Balor would be involved with the Judgment Day in any capacity, but they were absolutely not, because I feel like that was a really perfect opportunity for Finn Balor to be a part of the match, cost Dominik Mysterio, and then Dominik can play the whole, weren't you friends with AJ? Are you trying to screw me? It creates tension. That leads to the, eventual Judgment Day breakup that they've been teasing for 6 years. It's been less than 6 years, but you know what I mean. I just feel like this was a good opportunity to do that. Unless this feud is over, they can still do that at maybe Clash in Paris, but it was a really, really entertaining match. It was really fun. It was everything it needed to be. I just wish that this is where AJ Styles won, to be honest, because I don't know where he goes from here. I hope he's still fighting for the IC title moving forward. I was wrong, because I thought he was going to win. Then we had the main event where Cody Rhodes defeated John Cena to become the WWE Undisputed Champion, and then Brock Lesnar returned after the match. This match was everything it needed to be. No interference, no shenanigans, just a 1v1. The match we really deserved at WrestleMania 41. Super Cena versus Super Cody. It was easily one of John Cena's best matches ever. As a John Cena fan for 25 years, I can say that. I have an opinion. It really was. He does not look 50. And after seeing that match, I think he's got another 10 years. It was really good. Call me a glazer or whatever you will. And you got to give credit to Cody for doing the same. Cody was great. There was a lot of opportunities there where I thought maybe he was going to turn heel. He had this sinister look in his eyes many times, but there was still a lot of hesitation. You literally could see it in his face, the respect he has for John Cena while he's about to hit him with the rope or the chair or whatever. Insane kickouts. John Cena becomes the first wrestler in the WWE to kick out of the triple crossroads. Not Roman, not Brock, John Cena did it, and that is so cool, man. I'm glad they did it. Now, I will say, when we step back and look at John Cena's farewell tour, we're gonna appreciate it, we're gonna love it, but it has to be the worst heel turn result of all time. I thought the moment of the heel turn was actually great. It didn't pay off and it didn't make sense. And then also the worst babyface turn of all time. It was just like, yeah, you know what? On a random episode of SmackDown, I'm just gonna turn babyface after this crazy run, after 25 years of never doing a heel run. Let me just unswitch it after one moment. I just felt like it just wasn't it, but who cares? At the end of the day, we're seeing John Cena, we're appreciating it, we're respecting it, and maybe my idea of this all will change as time goes by, but it was a crazy match. It was so good. There were so many close moments, so many epic moments. I love that they went through the crowd. That truly felt like a WrestleMania match. That felt like an all-timer. We witnessed an all-timer, and I feel like that's what WrestleMania 41 should have been. Brock Lesnar returned, and that was insane. There was rumors going all day that Brock was spotted. I'm like, yeah, it's possible, but we'll see. It is a street fight. You never know. Boom! Cody Rhodes wins. He walks away. John Cena's in the ring for a little bit too long. I know he lost his championship, so he's really soaking it in, but they're not playing his music, and I'm like, why are they not playing his music? He walks towards the entrance ramp, and Brock Lesnar, man, insane pop. I know this is incredibly controversial. I get it. One thing I will say, the WWE and TKO are very sensitive and very protective of their sponsors and of their money, and they would not risk any of that if that meant bringing back any kind of risk. So I'm assuming Brock Lesnar is fine and cleared, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I'm just gonna assume everything is well and he's not guilty, because they wouldn't bring him back if it was like, oh, I don't know, or did he really do it? I just don't see them doing that. That's so risky. They would lose literal millions, if not tens of millions of dollars, maybe billions, I don't know. So let's take it for what it is. Brock Lesnar is back in the WWE. Him and John Cena are gonna go at it. One of John Cena's greatest rivals. I really enjoyed the rivalry back in the day, although I didn't like that John Cena would always get his ass kicked. But now we're back to Super Cena, and I don't know, man, are they gonna have Brock Lesnar lose in a return? I can't see that happening either. Maybe Super Cena is not gonna be so super. I'm very excited for their feud, and I'm very excited for Brock Lesnar's final run as well, because we have crazy matches. Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, running back with Roman Reigns, maybe running back with Cody, I'm not sure about that. Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, LA Knight, AJ Styles, the list goes on. Brock Lesnar is back, and it's gonna be insane. I do think he is gonna retire next year. SummerSlam 2026 is in Minneapolis, and that's his hometown. And also, he kind of is Mr. SummerSlam in some ways. Not the Mr. SummerSlam, but a massive part of SummerSlam's history. So him retiring at that event makes a lot of sense too. Also, Brock Lesnar versus Gunther is happening at Mania 42. I think it's gotta be the plan. There's no way they go away from it. It's gotta happen. So the landscape of the WWE has changed. Things are going to be insane now. I cannot wait. What a crazy SummerSlam weekend. Honestly, night one ended with an insane bang. Night two ended with a crazier bang. Again, some of the matches could have been better. Some of the moments could have been better. Some of the outcomes could have been better. But I had a great time overall. If you guys wanted to see any of the clips and reactions, they are all live right now at Gillymania on Instagram and at Gillymania Reacts on TikTok. Now, you're not going to want to miss the fallout of everything that just happened live this week on Raw and on SmackDown. So make sure you guys subscribe here, because we're going to be live streaming those events. Also at Gillymania on TikTok is where you can find me live streaming as well. JT Gilly on Twitch is another platform. I appreciate you guys watching. SummerSlam was crazy. I want to hear you guys' thoughts about everything. There was a lot of controversial stuff that happened this weekend, and I want to hear what y'all got to say.